So it's not exactly a very unpopular opinion when I say that the Mario series is in fact my favorite video game series, but I'd be lying if I said just about anything else. So today I bring you my top 10 favorite Mario games. All I can say is that some of the usual suspects will be absent from this list, but in their place you will see a few others that you normally wouldn't. So yeah, let's get into it. At number 10, we have Super Mario Kart. This was one of the two very first games I bought with my Super Nintendo about 8 or 9 years ago, the other being Super Mario World, because of course. But of those two games, I always preferred this one, mainly because I was always better at it. It also helps that this is the only Mario Kart game in the series to not have the blue shell, which is a plus in pretty much everyone's book. It might be rough around the edges as it's the first game in a long running series, but it makes up for it by perhaps being the most charming Mario Kart game. At number 9, we have Mario Sports Mix, far and away the best Mario Sports game. This was also the very first game to introduce me to a lot of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest characters, including the Slimes, the Black Mage, and the White Mage. Of the four sports in this game, basketball has always been my favorite, which is kind of funny because basketball isn't my favorite sport in real life. But the other three sports, hockey, volleyball, and dodgeball, are also a lot of fun too. There's an additional mode after beating the championship of all three sports where you face off against some Final Fantasy-esque boss, and it's kind of funny how you fight him with basketballs and hockey pucks and things like that. But this is a really fun party game to play with friends. I remember busting this out at a couple of birthday parties and having a blast. At number 8, we have Super Mario Galaxy 2. I used to rent this game from the library all the time until I was able to scrape together enough cash to buy my own copy, only for it to go on discount permanently a few months later. I'm still salty about that, but regardless, this is a solid 3D platformer, and it's definitely a bit more challenging than the original game. In fact, I was only able to beat this one for the first time with help from a babysitter. That said, a lot of the level design in this game outshines the original, though I still prefer its predecessor for a few reasons that I will explain in a moment. That said, this is still a top tier 3D platformer and easily one of the best games on the Wii. At number 7, we have Super Mario Land. This was one of the very first Game Boy games I ever played, which is kind of funny because this is also one of the very first Game Boy games ever released. A lot of people might be quick to write this game off because Mario only takes up 2% of the screen, as do most of the enemies and other obstacles. But this game definitely has its strong suits. The soundtrack, for one, is easily one of the best on the Game Boy, which is especially impressive considering this is one of the earliest titles, and normally early titles on a game system don't have the greatest soundtracks because they're still trying to figure out how the hardware works. I also really enjoy the shoot 'em up sections. Those are definitely the highlights of this game, but the rest of it is still pretty good too. At number 6, we have Mario Kart Wii. This was actually the very first Mario game I ever played, and it was the one that really got me not just into Mario, but also gaming in general. I must confess, I sucked at this game at first because I didn't really know what I was doing, and because of that I hated it. But over time, I practiced in time trial mode and took part in the Grand Prix, and I eventually grew to really like this game, and because of that I started playing other Mario games. So really, this whole video here, and much of my future videos in general, is all thanks to this game. Even if I do get hit by blue shells once or twice every lap, but that can be forgiven. At number 5, we have Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, much like how Mario Kart Wii got me into gaming, Mario Kart Double Dash got me into retro gaming, and it was because I was looking up videos of Mario Kart Wii on YouTube that I eventually stumbled upon Mario Kart Double Dash videos, and it looked really cool to me, so naturally I wanted it, but first I needed a GameCube, which I eventually did find, and, well, the rest is history. This is far and away the most unique Mario Kart game due to it having you control two characters at once, and of course having those two characters each hold their own items, and it can get really chaotic at times, especially on a track such as Baby Park. This is far and away my favorite Mario Kart game, and by extension my favorite racing game in general. Also my second favorite GameCube game, only beat out by number 4, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. This was one of the GameCube games that I wanted once I eventually managed to get my hands on a GameCube console. This was also the first turn-based RPG I ever played, and man, what an introduction to the genre it was. This is easily the best RPG on the GameCube, though Tales of Symphonia does come in at a close second. Due to its art style, it happens to be one of the best looking games on the console, and the combat is some of the most satisfying in any turn-based RPG in general. Though some might argue that Super Paper Mario does have a better story, I'd still say that this is one of the best stories that the Mario series has ever had in general. At number 3, we have Super Mario Galaxy. I must confess that when I bought this game, my intention was to unlock Rosalina in Mario Kart Wii, although I did eventually come around to playing this game and really enjoying it. This was the very first game I managed to beat entirely on my own, even without the assistance of the babysitter that helped me beat the second game. This also has far and away the best story in any main series Mario game, and even if the level design isn't quite as refined as the second game in the series, I've always kind of preferred this one. But yeah, this one stands tall as my favorite 3D Mario game. At number 2, we have Super Mario Land 2: 6 Golden Coins. This is easily my favorite handheld game, and far and away my favorite 2D platformer. I think what I love most about this game is that you can approach any one of the 6 zones in any order you please. And after completing all 6 of those zones, you face off against the final boss, Wario, in his debut appearance. I think my only real complaint with this game is that aforementioned final level is such a big difficulty spike from the rest of the game. But other than that, I love everything else about this title. The music, the power-ups, the level design. It really is an underrated Mario game, and it's a shame that Nintendo doesn't acknowledge it as often as they should. And finally, at number 1, we have Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. This was actually the second RPG that I played not too long after Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I remember actually first hearing this from a friend who said that this is one of the few games where you can actually play as Bowser, minus, Mario Kart and the Mario sports games. And this stands tall as easily the best Mario RPG, and even though in the interim there have been many attempts to top this game, I don't think it's ever been matched. With some of the best combat in any RPG, and a lot of great characters, stellar graphics, and an amazing soundtrack, this is my favorite Mario game of all time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.